Let the Girl Eat by Laurence from Noordaa. Countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! I dive in, grabbing my first hot dog and second. I slip the sausages and push them into my throat, cutting them into chunks with my incisors and grinding them into pulp with my molars. I fold the buns over. Dipping them into water, I flatten them together with my hands and shove them into a wide mouth with a flat palm. I swallow them whole, squeezing my throat muscles to tighten and open my trachea, thrusting the food along like a snake, shredding the bread's soft, decomposing body. I take a gulp of water, and on to the next, mechanically. To beat the record, I need to eat 7 hot dogs a minute. In front of me is a plate piled high and 2 cups of water, 1 for drinking, 1 for dunking. Pre-moistening food eases it down and starts digestion. I quicken my pace. I rip in. It's a violent assault. Food shoveling is savage. It's like inhaling it. The force sends pieces around me. Lumps float in the swampy cup. My jaw really hurts from all that mincing. Eating 12,000 calories in 10 minutes is a feat. This is not a hobby. It's a sport. I glimpse the clock. 2 minutes gone, 8 more minutes to go. I'm on track. All's good. I see my trainer, Rocco, clapping and roaring my name. He's like a football manager. I know I'm on track when he stops clamoring and starts swearing. It's one of those scorches on Coney Island. Sweat is dripping down my face. That's okay. More moisture. The sun is bouncing off the sand. I can smell the barbecues. Mostly ribs, some fish. When I arrived this morning at Nathan's flagship restaurant in Brooklyn, the crowd was already there, reserving their positions near the stage. The digital clock on the Wall of Fame was counting down the last hours until the contest. I took in every detail, preparing myself mentally. The large polyethylene hot dog, always hanging over the competing table, makes my stomach expand in anticipation. No, babe, that one's not for you. The sponsor's logos in bright colors above the stage was shouting out at me, "Buy! Buy!" This year, Heinz and Pepto-Bismol are the biggies. I turned away so as not to be spotted. We're all supposed to arrive together in the bus of champions. 5 minutes. I'm halfway there. I squint at my neighbor, a large black man in a yellow Mr. Greedy t-shirt stretched over a mountain of a stomach. A new guy. I am the only female out of a line of 10. I know most of these men from former competitions. George from Hungary, the Japanese consortium, and there at the end of the table, Afanasy, a Russian guy. I see him squeezing the water out of the bun he just dumped. A puddle of water is spreading around his plate. Mr. Greedy is chipmunking, his cheeks puffed up into 2 hard balls. It's a 90s trick. Let the water and digestive enzymes melt the food. It's too slow, though. Look at George. He's doing a Carlene pop, jumping up and down to force the food further into his stomach. That works better, but not my thing. I surprise people, looking so petite and small. Where does the food go? You can't see this, but I am all stomach. My heart is the size of a plum. My kidneys are olives. My liver is a chicken nugget. But my stomach is the size of a sailor's duffel bag, and my intestines as long as a fireman's hose. I am very good. I beat men. I'm not the only small gurgitator. Another competitor who is built like a teenager is Tango. Several years ago, he destroyed the record of 20 dogs by eating 50 against 2 big guys. The competition went from bigger is better to better is better. We now know that large abdominal blubbers restrict the stomach's ability to expand, so you need to stay fit to eat more. For a long time, men thought women were not physically and emotionally strong enough to compete. Then, the first woman beat a man. She was German. Everyone knows they love their Wurst. I'm told they eat them for breakfast. Disgusting. Do you know how stuffing yourself became a tournament? It was an immigrant's game, born of an immigrant food. The sausage. The first Frankfurter was sold in Brooklyn by a German butcher in 1880. He put the sausages in a split bun so that his customers would not burn their hands. The competition was invented by foreigners, arguing about who was most patriotic. There is no better way of being American than to eat too much foreign food. A Polish immigrant, Nathan Handwerker, who owned a small hot dog stand in Coney Island, extended it to a chain, Nathan's Famous, and made the competition official. I'm an immigrant as well. Well, that's not entirely true. I moved to America at 10 when I was adopted by a good American family who called me Mary. My adoptive mom was infertile, so expectations for me were high. I think they're a bit disappointed. My mom wanted me to be a model. With your looks, you could make millions, she said. She put a ton of makeup on my face and told me, your eyes could eat a man whole. My first mother would be horrified with what I do today. She was very traditionalist. She strove for righteousness, courtesy, and temperance. Lived by the rules. Be the first to show concern and the last to enjoy yourself. She always avoided sensory excess. She thought wastefulness is sin. She liked the quote, ambition is like hunger. It obeys no law but its appetite. She lectured us constantly about our vices and lack of virtue and the consequences of that, so much so we were petrified we might inadvertently make the wrong choices. Before I left for America, she knelt down in front of me and held me by the shoulders, shaking me slightly. Be careful, daughter. America is the country of vice. My Chinese name is Shou Mei. When I moved to New York at 18, I changed Mary back to Shou. My agent signed me with the IFOCE a year ago, and the name written down was Shou Mei. So now the referee calls me on stage with this clever tagline, Show me Mei! When I took my place on the table, some of the locals booed me. One shouted, Hey Mei, give me a massage! The girls do the same, Show me your boobs! You'd be disappointed, boys and girls. There isn't much to see. I'm all insides. The other day, this woman with 5 kids shouted that I was eating what was taken out of a kid's mouth. Go back to your country, eat your fucking rice, leave good American beef to the Americans. I didn't get upset. I know how it feels. Need. My father worked in a factory. My mom in a laundrette. I have 5 sisters and 3 brothers. We had to share the little food we had. I never remember eating when I was back home. Eating wasn't important. Surviving was. When I moved here, I discovered food. So now, I eat. Most of the crowd likes me and cheer. There are 40,000 people watching me pig out today. That's without counting all those slouched under their couches watching ESPN sports television. Knowing this feels great. My name means little ocean. It's also a medical plant which feeds the heart. You call it wheat. You process it into food which kills the heart. I never eat for pleasure. My priority when it comes to food is to make it disappear quickly. I don't taste food anymore. In my country, we say the sense of taste is also a reflection of the heart's energy. If the heart is healthy, you can taste all flavors. We also say the emotion of the heart is joy. When you experience joy honestly, you are feeding your heart. I think I lost the sense of joy. I feel pride, power, sense of belonging, but the innocence that joy requires is gone. I am not feeding my heart. Being on the road competing can be very lonely. To keep me company, I have a plaster statue of Budai, the god of happiness, which was handed down to me from my grandmother. Budai sat in my room when I was a child. He terrified me. He is an obese, bald man wearing a robe which reveals his stomach spilling out like lava. Everything about him disgusted me. His deformed body with folds of skin, his drooping moobs with erect coral nipples, and his ears pulled down to his shoulders by weighty earrings. His wide, red mouth is always laughing, revealing a straight row of bone-white teeth and a blood-red, slug-thick tongue. It made my skin crawl. He carries a large cloth bag over his back that never empties of food. Legend says he travels the country to feed the poor and needy. In pictures, he's surrounded by groups of squealing kids. As a child, I always believed the food in the bag was, in reality, the bodies of these small children. I have really grown to like Budai. Since I've started competing, I feel him by my side, protecting me. I discovered he's not only the god of happiness, but also of contentment. Contentment. That is such a dirty word in American society. No one is meant to be content. We all have to strive to reach the goal. My stomach's growling, growling, and growing. It has a life of its own. I let it do its thing. It swells up slowly. First a bulge, it's quickly a bowling ball, then a football. The thin skin keeping it all in could burst at any time. Overeating is a dangerous business. I practice alone, and if I choke, no one can help me. I even risk intoxication by drinking too much water. A competitor was drinking with friends the other day. They challenged him to eat over 40 dogs for a free beer. He can usually eat more, but that day he'd had 3 meals and drunk 5 beers. His stomach burst. He was so drunk and his mouth was so used to chewing that he continued to eat, filling his whole body cavity. Mr. Greedy next to me vomits sausage through his nose. A reversal of fortune or Roman method incident. That's disqualification. Lightweight. He's too tense. I relax my throat and let food drop into my stomach. I'm still only half full. Now the clock shows 3 minutes to go. My scorekeeper fills and flips over my numbered board. 65 hot dogs, and I'm still hungry. I eat another 7. 72. The crowd is hysterical. Again, 79. The countdown. 10, 9, 8. I eat 3 more. 82. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. 2 more. 84. 2, 1. Hands down. You have 29 seconds to empty your mouth. But I'm still hungry. I grab another hot dog. 85. The referee tells me to stop. They pull my plate away. I grab 5 from my neighbors. I continue to eat. My stomach is a beach ball. People are shouting, "Let her eat! Let her eat!" I eat for them. I eat for my family, my friends. I eat for all women. I eat for my displaced fellow men. I eat for my country, for both my countries. I'd lift my head high to give my food-pregnant stomach more space to grow. They still shout, "Let her eat! Let the girl eat!"